In this tutorial, we're going to create a business website for free. I'm going to create a fictitious accounting firm website, and you can follow along and create and customize your very own website. We're going to use the Neve theme and Elementor, the free version of both those tools. I'm going to show you to import a template and how to customize everything about it. If you like this kind of video, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss future videos on this channel. And also, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and we'll try to answer them as best we can. And also like this video. My name is Bjorn Allpass for Theme Isle, and we're getting started right now. Over the course of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to buy a domain, which is this area up here, which is where your website is found on the internet. I'm going to show you how to buy a hosting account, which is where your website files live. That's why this website is actually viewable by the public. I'm going to show you how to import this awesome looking template into your site using what's called Neve and Elementor. That's a theme and a plugin. And we'll be able to customize every detail of this template right here. So we're going to import this template, and I'm going to show you how to customize every aspect of it to have it appear and work just how you want it. And it's super simple with Elementor. I know it sounds scary, but it's actually really easy. I'm going to show you how to customize the footer. I'm going to show you how to customize the menu system at the top. I'm going to show you how to add images. I'm going to show you how to add text. I'm going to show you how to do all kinds of things, including add new pages and then link them to your menu so you can have new pages on your site. We're going to do all of that starting with finding your business name and buying a domain. If you're following along this video but you don't have a domain name or hosting account yet, just click the link in the description down below. It will take you to SiteGround, which is where I host all my websites, and it will take you to this page. Or if it doesn't take you to this page, just go to hosting and then go to WordPress hosting, and then you get to this page. And this is where you buy hosting, and you can buy domain names here as well. A domain name is your web address. For example, siteground.com is the domain name of this hosting company. So your website needs a domain name as well, otherwise people cannot find it on the internet. And hosting is where all the files are stored. So you have a domain name where people find your website, but then the content of your website is stored on a hosting account. And that's the service that SiteGround provides. And you can also buy domain names here. And there's another site you should check out if you're having trouble picking a domain name. It's called Domain Wheel. If you have an idea for a website, say it's about paper airplanes, you can type in paper airplanes and then search, and it gives you all kinds of ideas that are related to paper airplanes. So here we have cardpaperairplanes.org, paper jets, e-paper airplanes, card airplanes. You get the idea. You can also limit the search results, so you have only .coms on here if you like. Click on search, only .coms appear. And you can try to find a domain name that suits your needs. Down below there's also a sounds like and a random suggestions area that'll help you get more ideas for domain names. And once you have a domain name, you can come back to SiteGround and you can choose a hosting plan. Now these hosting plans are almost always on sale for the first purchase. I'll tell you what that means in just a minute. But this one, for example, is $3.95 a month, regular, $12 a month. And if you just have one website, you're just starting out, this is all you need. So $3.99 a month is very reasonable, and SiteGround is a great host with awesome features. And 10,000 monthly visitors is a long ways to go. So when you're starting out, it's going to take you a long time to get there. And if you do end up outgrowing this plan, it's really easy to upgrade. It's one-click upgrade in your back end, in your SiteGround account. Super simple. So for today, we're going to get the startup plan. We're going to type in the domain name that you found earlier. Hopefully you found one. I'm just going to call mine, let's build a new website. I don't think this one's taken. I haven't double checked. But if you find a domain name on Domain Wheel up here, these are ones that have not been taken. So you can just copy and paste those right into here. Make sure you pick whether it's a .com or .net, .org or .directory, .estate or whatever it is. Make sure you pick that from this drop down here. And then it shows here domain registration is $16 per year. It's pretty average. Click on proceed. Now we come to this page, shows this domain name as available, so that's good. And now I'm just going to fill out this form with my email, my billing info, credit card number, and then we'll get into this after I fill out the form. So I'll be right back. I fill out the form above, including my billing info and address info, and now we pick our plan. We have startup, which we picked earlier. We can choose our data center if we want to. You should pick the one that's closest to you. I'm in Canada, so the USA data center is closest to me. If you live in a different part of the world, make sure you pick the one that's closest to you. That just makes it so that your website loads faster locally in your local area. And the period is how long you want to register for. And the trick here is this $3.95 a month is valid for your registration period. So if you order for 12 months, you get $3.95 a month for 12 months. After 12 months, it's $12. If you go for 36 months, you get the $395 for 3 years instead of 1 year. And after that, it's $11. So pick the one you want. Definitely don't pick 1 month because that's really expensive for 1 month. But if you're going to have a website long term, why not choose the longest term one and have the greatest discount for the hosting? It only makes sense. So now we have our hosting services picked out. Our domain registration here is $16. We can add in domain privacy. That means that your information will not be in what's called the Whois database. Any domain name that's purchased, whoever purchased it or the company that purchased it is visible through the Whois database. And if you buy this privacy protection, it's not visible. It'll look like SiteGround bought the domain and not you. So that is important if you want to have some more privacy. I usually don't check that. I also don't use the SG Site Scanner. It's helpful for detecting malware and things like that, but I use other tools for that, so I'm not going to choose that. But if you want to have the scanner to protect yourself from malware, feel free to add that in for $20 a year by checking this box. And now we have to confirm some things. The first one we have to confirm. The second one we don't have to. This is just special offers and emails they want to send you. You can say yes or no. It's up to you. Then we click on Pay Now. Now it's going to process, and we're going to receive some emails that are going to be very important. So we're going to log into my email account in just a minute to see those new emails from SiteGround. I believe there are 3 of them, and they're all quite important. I'll walk through each of them. So the account's been created. We can click on Proceed to Customer Area. And now I'm going to start a new website since that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to click on WordPress. I'm going to add my email address. I'm going to create a username. Let's say that. Here it shows it's not long enough, so let's make it a little longer. Make my full name. The password, I'm going to use a password generator for that. And that one's only medium. Add an exclamation. There we go. Okay. Now we have a strong password. I recommend you have a strong username and a strong password just because that's good for your website security. Then I will click on Confirm. And here we can add domain privacy again if we want to for $12. SG Scanner again if we want to for $20. So if you didn't add them before, it's going to ask you again. You can choose those or not choose those. I'm going to not choose them. Click on Confirm. Going to check this box and then click on Complete Setup. Our hosting account is ready to use. So click on the big green button to proceed to the customer area. And now we have the home page. This is what you first see when you log into your SiteGround account. You can see your accounts under My Accounts. This is where we're going to see our domains. There's our new domain name right there. And believe it or not, WordPress is already installed. And this site is actually live. If we copy and paste this domain into a new tab, there's going to be something there. It does not look very nice right now because it's just a plain WordPress install. We're going to fix that in a few minutes. But we have a site live on the internet. Only took 10 minutes. So you can email your mom and let her know you've got a site online, which is awesome. And we're going to go to WP admin. So we have our website domain name followed by a / and then WP-admin. Hit enter, and it's going to take us to a login page. This is where we enter the username and password we created in the form just a minute ago. So my username was Bjorn Allpass. My password was this. And I'm going to click on login. Now we can go to the SiteGround setup wizard to create your WordPress site. We're not going to do that in this video. I'm going to click on exit, and we're going to go into the dashboard for the WordPress site. Now we come to a custom dashboard. This looks a little bit different than most other WordPress dashboards you've probably seen in some tutorials. This is a SiteGround specific dashboard. You don't really use it for very much, so the way it's designed isn't really too important. Now we have to go back into a SiteGround area and take a look at those emails I told you about earlier. Here it says pending verification, and we do that through our email account. So I'm just going to log into my email. The verification email they sent us, we need to click on this link right here to verify our domain. So here we are, we're at the verification page. Just have to verify this information is correct, and we click on verify information. And yay, we're verified. Now if we come back here and refresh, this may take a minute to update, or a few minutes. It's not updated yet, but we are verified. So that's good. We can close this tab, and we can close this email because we've done that. This email is important information about your new hosting account. Login buttons, set up your website, complete your domain verification. We did that just now. This is information to read through if you want to read through it. It's not really that important. You bookmark the user area, remember your password, and that's really all there is to it. And this email is your sales receipt, has all the important info about your purchase, so keep that in a safe place. Now that we've gone through all the emails, we've verified our domain name and our information, we're now ready to build out that website that I showed you at the very beginning of this tutorial. The first thing I usually do is clean up some demo data that WordPress adds when you install WordPress. Quite often when you go to posts, you'll find a post here called Hello World, which you can just delete. You can hover over it and delete it. When you install WordPress the way we just did on SiteGround, that post is not added, so that's why it's not here. Under pages, there's often one called sample page and perhaps privacy policy. You can delete the sample page, but I recommend you do keep the privacy policy because that's important to have on a website. You just have to update the text in it. And under themes, we currently have the 2019 theme. That's installed on all WordPress sites that are installed in 2019. Every year they usually come out with a new one. I don't think they had one in 2018. They may not have one in 2020. It might just be 2019 for all next year as well, but you'll see. We'll add a new theme in a little bit. Under plugins, we have SG Optimizer and the WordPress Starter. This is what creates our fancy dashboard, the SiteGround dashboard. If we want to delete both of these, which we do in this case, I'm going to select both of them, go to bulk actions, go to deactivate, click apply, and then choose them all again, go to delete and apply. And that will now delete them. A plugin has to be deactivated before it can be deleted. And we're going to add some new plugins in just a bit. Under users, this is where you're going to find your user. This is the one that we created when we filled out that form on SiteGround. You can add new users by clicking add new, and you can customize your user by clicking on edit. Why you want to do this, for example, is up in the top right here, it says Howdy Bjorn Allpass, and that's my username. That's also the name that would be used in any content you create on the website. We can change that in here. We can also change the colors of our back end. We can choose any one of these, and we can change how the back end of our WordPress site looks. I'm going to stick with this one. So we have our username here, which cannot be changed. We can enter our first name and last name. And based on what you enter in those two fields, we can change our display name publicly as, we can just choose one of these. So I'm just going to choose my first name, and that changes it up here in the top right to just my first name. You can change your picture here. You can change your admin email address, make a new password. You can log out. And you can update profile by clicking on this button. The next thing I usually do is up on the top left, you see that my blog, that is a name that you've set, or that SiteGround in this case has set for the website. You can change it by going to settings and then general. You can type in the name of the website right here. I'm going to name my site 123 Accounting. That's going to be the name of my company, my fictitious company. And I'm going to have a pipe character and then just add accounting services. And that is what we actually do. And in fact, I'm going to move this to the front. So I'm going to call it Accounting Services and have the company name after that. Because for SEO purposes, for ranking higher in search engines, you want to have your main keyword first. And your main keyword, if you're an accounting business, is probably accounting services or something very similar to that. So you want to have that as far left to the site title as possible. For the tagline, you can have something like, we add up numbers, for example. Maybe something more descriptive for your company. Basically, the tagline describes in very few words what it is that you do for customers or what kind of benefit you provide for customers. It makes them want to do business with you, in other words. The other important things down here are your time zone. This is what will be listed when you publish a post. It will show as this time zone. I never know what my UTC number is, but I know that I am close to Vancouver. I'm going to choose that, or in the Vancouver time zone anyway. The date format, whatever radio box you choose, these are radio boxes here. Whichever one you choose is how the dates will appear on your post. So I'm going to keep that one. This is how the time will appear. And this is the start of the week. For me, it's Monday. For you, maybe a different day. So choose the appropriate day, then click on Save Changes. And you'll see up in the top left here, it doesn't say my blog anymore. Now it says Accounting Services, pipe character, 123 Accounting. And if we go to our site, it has it up in the main tab up here. That is now what's called the title, and that shows up here. So now we're done with the cleaning up and the customizing of the basics inside your WordPress dashboard. Now we're going to install a new theme. We're going to go to Appearance and then Themes. We're going to click on Add New. And here is where we can see a very large database of free themes. These are all vetted by WordPress itself, and they're all high quality themes. And you can find pretty much any theme you want for your needs. There are some themes that are better than others, so you got to be mindful of how well the theme is created. I know it's very difficult to do from the get-go. That's why I'm going to recommend a great theme for you to try. But we're on the Feature tab now. It shows all the featured themes. You can see they're quite beautiful. There's a Popular tab, which shows popular themes, ones that are the most downloaded. The Latest has the latest themes. Favorites are ones that you star. So these would be your favorites yourself. I don't have any starred right now, so I don't have any favorites. You can also filter by feature. So if you want to do a blog or e-commerce we can apply those filters. And now it shows all the themes that have those words, blog and e-commerce, as a tag. So the theme developer feels that their theme qualifies for those tags or for those words, for those types of sites. And here is the results. And there are 939, so quite a few. I'm going to show you a theme that I really like using. It is called Neve. It's very fast, it's very well designed, and more importantly, it has starter templates so you can easily get your site up and running pretty quickly. This is the Neve theme right here. I'm going to click on install and then activate to make it the active theme on our site. And now if we go to the front here, our live website, if we refresh the page, it looks a little different now. There's still no content there, but you can see the design has changed because we have a different theme installed. Most themes, when you install them, they look a lot like this. They don't look like the pretty pictures you see in the repository or this demo right here. You have to do a little work to get them to there. And we're going to do that work right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I have this 2019 theme that's just sitting here that I'm not going to use. I'm going to click on theme details and then click on delete and then OK. So now we have just our main theme. And I'm going to click this blue button, try one of our ready to use starter sites. If you don't see this panel here, you can go to Neve options and then click on sites library and you'll see all the starter sites here. These pre-built sites come in two flavors. One is Elementor, one is Gutenberg. Gutenberg is the editor, the page editor that's built into WordPress, and Elementor is a third-party page editor called a page builder or a website builder that is very, very popular and very powerful. I'm going to choose the Elementor option, and I'm going to find a site that's similar to my needs. I have an accounting business, and I want to create I don't really, just for this example, I have an accounting business. I want to create the site for that. And I think this legal one is probably the closest. You can click on preview to check out how it looks full screen. And I think it looks quite nice. And I'm going to update this to be for accounting. So I'm going to click on import on the bottom right here. And now we have a few checkboxes, a few things to go through. Under general, we want to import the content. We want to import the customizer settings. I'll show you what those are. And we want to import the widgets. I'll show you what those are as well. We want to install Orbit Fox by ThemeIsle and then the Elementor page builder. There's no option to turn this off because it's required. For this to be able to edit these pages, we have to have Elementor, so you can't turn that one off. I'm going to keep all the others on, then click on import. Now it's going to quickly run through this process of installing and setting everything up for us. And there we go, it's all there. Now we can view the website. Let's check it out. So here's our site. It is, if we had a law firm, it would be ready to rock and roll right now. That looks fantastic. One thing I noticed right away is my name up here, a little too long. Not my name, the website name up here is a little too long. We will fix that. Let's go back into the back end, into your WordPress admin area, and we're at the main dashboard. What happened was the theme installed for us some pages. If we go to pages, we now have the home page and a blog page. We have Elementor installed, which is a plugin, and we have the Orbit Fox plugin installed. There's one last thing I want to show you, and that's the posts. All these posts were added when we installed the site template. If we click on view on any one of these, I control-clicked and open on a new page. We see the post right here, just a demo post. This is something you probably wouldn't keep on your site. You probably want to delete this and create your own. But these are just samples of posts and how they're created. So you can go in there and see what they look like. If you go into the editor, this is the Gutenberg editor that we see here. It's the one built into WordPress. You can change the title of the post. Let's call this How to Do Accounting 101, because we are, after all, an accounting website. And I'm going to change this content to, I'm going to leave this content. I'm going to write paragraphs and paragraphs right now. Up here, when you click on the title, we have this permalink up here. This is the link on your site where this content will be viewable. If we click on edit, we can change the last part because it's no longer about obtaining citizenship through a court decision. This is about accounting 101. So I'm going to change this to How to Do Accounting 101. And you don't want to have spaces up here. That's why I have dashes instead of spaces. And the image that we saw on the post, that is the featured image. If we're on document over here on the right, there's a featured image section, and it has our featured image here. That is not really a featured image you want to have for Accounting 101. So I'm going to change it by clicking on Replace Image. And now we can upload a picture right here, or click on Select Files to select it from our hard drive. I'm just going to select Files and go to Downloads. And the one I want to use is this one right here. Looks pretty relevant for accounting. It's got a bunch of numbers. That adds the image on the right-hand side over here, and it adds it to specific areas that the theme allows on the website. If you want to add an image to your content, there's multiple ways to do that. You can hover down below here. We see this little plus appear on the left, and there's some quick links here. This is an image link. Click on Add Image, and we can go to the media library, and let's just use this one. Now we have an image in our content. You can also find the image block by clicking on plus on the top left up here, and then you find image here. If it's not in this list, there's a whole bunch of blocks in here. You can search for it. And now we have image right there. You can also insert a gallery if you have multiple images you want to display. But you just click on that one, it adds it to the bottom of the page, and then you're good to go. You can also move these around. So I can click on this little up arrow that appears when we hover, and it goes up. So the image is now above, and the content is now below. I'm going to move that back down. I'm going to click on Update. And something I noticed that we should change as well is the permalink structure. If we hover or click back into the title here, we see the date right here. That is an incorrect date, it's not 2018, but we see the date and we want to change that. So if we go to Settings and then Permalinks, we have a lot of options for how to display date. There's the correct one, 2019. And the way we want to do it for SEO is have just the post name. And that's going to be the how-to-do accounting that we saw earlier as our link. And that is better for SEO. So I'm going to click on Save Changes. And then I would go back to Posts. Go back into Edit This, click into the title, and now we see those numbers are no longer in the URL. Those have very little value for search engines. I'm going to click on this little icon here so we can view the page, and this is how our content now looks in a new tab. We have the featured image that displays up here, and we have the image we added down here. So that is how we can edit posts. If you wanted to create a brand new one, you just go back to Posts and then click on Add New, or if you click on Posts here, you can click on Add New up here. And now we have a blank Gutenberg editor, just like the one we saw earlier, and you can add your content in here. An important thing you want to do for the blog section of your site is customize the sidebar. The sidebar is this area on the right-hand side over here, and you can customize it a lot in WordPress. If you go to Appearance and then Widgets, you have a lot of options on the left-hand side that you can add to the right-hand side. The right-hand side is your live sidebar. Right now there's a search bar, there's recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and I'm not going to read those to you, but suffice it to say there's a lot going on in the sidebar, and you can customize it to include whatever you want to have. You can drag and drop these down into inactive, which will save its settings, or you can just click on the down arrow, click on delete, and it removes that widget, and you can just add a new one by dragging and dropping it in, and then you can customize it as you see fit. And then you click on save. Now you have your sidebar displaying whatever it is you want to display there. Now, one of the important things we should do now is edit this page with Elementor. This is where the magic really happens. There's an Edit with Elementor button right here. So any page you're on that was created with Elementor, you can click that button and go into the editor. If you're in the back end, you can go to Pages, and if you hover over a page, it will show Edit with Elementor, and it says right here Elementor if it's been created with it. The ones that have not been created with Elementor will not say those things. Click on Edit with Elementor. It'll take you to the same place as if you'd click here, Edit with Elementor. Before we do that, I want to show you more site configure options that Neve offers for you. If we go to Appearance and then Customize, by installing this site template, Neve added a lot of customization options to the website. And here on the left-hand side, we can customize site-wide changes. Elementor, we can go page by page, but with the Neve theme inside the customizer, we can do site-wide changes. For example, the header up here, the menu system, that's created in Neve. So if you click on Header, and logo and site identity, that's this area in the top left here. We have the site title option and the tagline, same as we saw earlier. We can choose to not show those because they are taking up too much space. Instead, we can add a logo. So I click on Select Logo. We now have the ability to choose a logo from a media library or upload files like we did before. I'm going to upload a file by dragging and dropping this time so you can see something different. Here's my logo. Just drag and drop it out here. There it is right there. Click on Select. Click on Skip Cropping, Cropping just reduces the size of the logo to fit in a certain area, but I don't want to. I want to fit it right in there, and I think that fits quite well. You can change the width of the logo if it's too wide. You can shrink it down. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. The site icon is what replaces this little planet symbol up here. Domain wheel has a nice one. SiteGround has a nice one. Optimal has a nice one. This one is just generic. So we can change that by clicking on site icon, and then we can upload another image. To drag and drop again, you can drag and drop right into this media area as well, not just the upload files area. And this icon ideally is 512 by 512 pixels. Click on select, and now it adds it right up there. That's pretty straightforward. Now the content of the menu, like the words and where the links go and things like that, that is changed in the WordPress editor in the back end. I'll show you that in just a minute. But we can change the design of that menu by clicking on primary menu. Going to layout, we can change it to different alignments if we want to. We can change the padding and margin. We'll just add space on the top, the bottom, the right, and the left. And we can style it, for example, when you hover, we show these full color backgrounds. We can have underlines appear. I quite like the underlines. I'm going to keep it on underlines. You can change the color of the menu. So you change the color of the words with this option here. And you change the color of the active item, which is the page that you're currently on, by using this option. And you change the hover color by using this option. Just make the hover color purple, just so it really stands out. So here we can see as we hover over, the color goes to purple. And in fact, the active color, I'm going to change to purple as well. It's fairly common that the active color is the hover color. So that works out quite nicely. Now inside the Neve customizer here, we also have the ability to edit our footer, which is what is at the bottom of the page. Let's go to the very bottom. Right now we just have a footer menu, which is actually the same menu as at the top, I believe. We can click on the footer menu box here, and it shows us which footer menu we have. And under footer menu, we have main selected, which is the main menu. So it is the same menu as the top, which is fine. You can have it at that, and that's no problem. But you can also add more widgets if you want to. You could have a bigger footer by dragging in footer 1 and footer 2, for example. And now we can add more content in here and customize it. We're not going to do that in this case, just showing you the options you have available to you. And you can change the footer designs just like we did before. So changing the layout, changing the styles, easy peasy. And we can also change all these other things. I'm not going to go through everyone in detail because I really want to show you how to edit the actual page itself. So I'm going to click on publish because we made some changes here. And those changes are not saved until we click publish. Let's click on X to get out of the customizer and then go to appearance and menus first. This is where we customize our menu. And you recognize this as being the main menu, expertise, the firm, lawyers, testimonials, blog, contact. Now the firm doesn't really, I guess you'd call places accounting firms. Maybe that applies to what I'm doing. But the lawyers one, I'm going to change to accountants. I'm going to change the URL to hashtag accountants. And this hashtag means it's linking to a specific spot on the page. It's not going to a different page. It's going to scroll down to the accountant spot on the page, which will make more sense in just a minute. I'm going to click on Save Menu, and then I'm going to go out here to the front. I'm going to refresh to see our changes to the menu. Now we can see it says Accountants. We have our new logo up there. When we hover, we have our nice new colors. It doesn't go anywhere yet because we don't have the hashtag Accountants, which we just created. We haven't added that to the page yet. But if you click on the firm, that's going to scroll down to an area that tells you about the firm. So we have a nice one-page layout, and all these buttons lead to somewhere on this page. Now I'm going to click on Edit with Elementor so we can start editing the content inside of this page, which is the content in here, all the content in the middle. As we can see, it pulls in our header, our navigation menu from the Neve theme. It pulls in our navigation or our footer from the Neve theme at the bottom. And everything in the middle, when we hover over any of these things or click on anything, we can edit it. For example, we want to change the image in the background, click on these 6 dots, click on Style, and now we have that background image right here. A lot of these things, you kind of have to poke around a bit. I know my way around Elementor, so I know where all these things are. But when you're first starting out, you just have to click on things and then use the menus on the left-hand side to try to find them. I'm going to change this background image. Just click on Delete. I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to choose this one right here. Looks more like an airport. That's okay. This is our accounting firm. This is what it looks like. I'm going to change this text up here, and just by clicking on it, I'm going to call it 123 accounting. And you can also change the text in the left up here in this box. And this is the main title of the website. This is what this website is about and what this page is about. So we want to change that to an H1, which tells search engines this is the most important headline on the page. The tagline we have here, personal, professional, proven results. That's pretty good, but I think ours was better. Ours was, we add up numbers. I think that's what it was. That's a great tagline. Consultation is a button. We click on that button and it takes us down to here. Not what we wanted. We wanted to edit the button. But the button editor did appear on the left-hand side. When we edit it, we see it has pound contact, takes us down to the contact area. You can have this go to a different page on your site or a different website if you wanted to. You just add the link to that place in here. I'm going to make this button a little larger. And I'm going to say, contact us. I'm going to keep it going down to the contact form. I'm going to add an icon. I'm going to make this icon, let's make it an arrow of some kind. It's a nice arrow. I'm going to put the arrow after. I'm going to add a little space between the words and the arrow so it also looks squished. That's pretty good. I find that red pretty aggressive, so I'm going to change it to be a blue. The background color is transparent because we can see the background image through the button. The hover color is what goes red. So for the hover color, I'm going to make it this blue. Border color would be this blue as well. Now when we hover, we have this nice blue. Now down below here, we have this short testimonial. Neve lawyers help me put my life back together for the better. I'm going to change that to, they are great at adding up numbers, which we are because we're accountants. These stars here, this is an icon list. If you ever want to add more widgets to a page, just click on these dots up here, and these are all the widgets you have available in the free version of Elementor, and OrbitFox adds a bunch as well. And there's some WordPress specific ones, those come with Elementor as well. But usually you'd spend most of your time in these basic and general areas to add widgets. And this one is an icon list. And it basically allows you to add icons. Maybe you rate things out of 10 stars. We click on duplicate 5 times. And now we have 10 stars, but that's a little too wide. See, it overflows. But we can drag the column width to make it wider so it doesn't overflow. And we can adjust pretty much anything on the page by doing that. There we go, that's pretty good. Let's change this background color. The black is a little grim. I'm gonna click on these 6 dots here. I'm gonna go to Style, Background Color. Let's make it a light gray. There we go. Now this anchor you see here, this is what is anchoring the links. It's called an anchor link. When we click on the link up here in the menu, this one, for example, is pound, whatever this says, pound practice areas. So that's where we add our anchor links. And down below where we had our lawyers, this anchor link is going to say pound lawyers. We're going to change that to pound accountants. So the link that we created in the menu, this one right here, links to that location down below. So anchor links will take you to different parts of the page, and you can actually link from a different page and go to specific parts of other pages by having a link where you simply add the pound and the anchor at the end. For example, you can go to yourdomain.com/pound practice areas, and that will take you to a different website in this case, and then the pound practice areas anchor on that website. So you have to make sure that anchor exists before you create links like that, but in our case it does. And we can change these practice areas. Let's change this to things we add. I'm going to change the color of the font by going to Style and then Color. Choose a darker gray. Now this divider here, if you click on that, you can change the divider to whatever options you want in here. You can just point and click and then change back to what they were if you don't like what they were. Or there's the undo button down here. So we just made this divider dashed. If I don't like it, I can click on History and click on Undo. I know that this is the most recent one right here. If I click on Undo, it will undo it. Or if you press Control or Command Z, it will undo it as well. You keep pushing that, it's gonna, you see with the check marks, that's where you currently are in the history. It's gonna keep going back. if I keep pressing Command Z. Oh, I went too far, so let's go back up to here. And now we're back to our version right before I changed the divider. So let's go back to this divider. If you don't want the divider, you can simply right-click on the pencil over here and then click on Delete, and then the divider goes away. But I quite like it, so I'm going to keep it. These options here, or these text areas, are icon boxes. We can easily change the icon in here. Let's look for fruit. There's no fruit. Maybe apple? Yes, there's an apple. That could be infringing on copyrights. But the point here is that we add up fruit. This is describing what our firm does. Things we add. We add fruit. Might not be a common thing an accounting firm does, but our accounting firm is fairly uncommon. So we can update all of these and change them to whatever we like. There's a lot of icons in here, a lot to choose from. There might even be a dollar symbol. That's most commonly what an accounting firm does. We add money. We'll add up all your money. So that's how you can go through and change all these. If you want to change the style, the red background and things like that, go to Style, click on Icon if it's not open, and change the primary color to whatever it is that you like for a color. And then you can change the hover color as well, maybe to this one. So when you hover, it changes. And the secondary color is the apple on the inside. So maybe you want to have a red apple. And then when we hover, the apple will go like gray. So there we go. There's a nice hover, loud and obnoxious. I'm not recommending these colors for your website, but that is how you change the colors. You can change the spacing between the icon and the words. You can change the size of the icon. That's too big. Let's put it back down to there. You can change the padding, which is the space between the icon and the edge of whatever's surrounding it. We can rotate it. And for the content, this is for the actual text. We can change how it's aligned. We can align it to the right. Let's not do that. Let's keep it left. Space between the title. Let's shrink that a little bit. Change the typography. Let's say we want to change this to Open Sans. Now our font has changed for the title. For the description, we can change our font. Let's say Open Sans for that too. Now it's changed to that. And let's say, heaven forbid, we actually like this design. We can copy by right-clicking on the pencil, click on Paste Style, and it applies that style. It doesn't change the content, just the styles. As you can see, our dollar sign is now loud and obnoxious and turned sideways. And you can paste that anywhere you like, anywhere where it's a similar element. All of these are icon boxes, so it works for all of these. I'm just going to paste it everywhere because this design's growing on me. All right, there we go. So now we have our styles pasted all over the place, and it's a wonderful thing. Let me scroll down further, and the same idea here. All it is point and click. You point and click into whatever area you want, and you update it. About the firm, just start deleting. About the business, even though it's called the firm in the navigation, that's fine. Want to update this text here, you can update it here or on the left. You can update the lawyers. I'm going to call these accountants because they are accountants, not lawyers. Anybody can see that. What we have here is an image box. Just like the icon box, there's a lot of customization. So instead of an icon up here, we have an image that you can add from your media library, and you can change the name, which is the name here. You can change the content in here, which is the description down below. You can give it a link. You can add their social media icons. You can change the styling of all these things. And then when you're happy with the style, you can then copy and paste the style onto the other ones you have on your page. Easily customizable, super simple. Blog of Neve Accountants. Let's update that. And these are the blog posts being pulled in. This is a grid options widget that's added by OrbitFox. If we go back to our list of widgets, we have the grid post or post type grid here, which is this section right here. We can customize how our recent posts from the blog appear on here. So if you publish a new post right now, this one will be bumped to the middle, this one will be bumped to the right, and then this one will be bumped off the homepage. So as you're updating your content and creating new content, it's always up to date on your homepage. testimonials widget down here. Let's change this to accountants again. We can click on any one of these and update the testimonial. We can also customize the testimonial a little more. You can add images if you want. You can add an image right here. Let's say this lady who works here also left us a testimonial. That's her with the image. Looks much nicer when you add an image in there. You can have the image on the side, or you can have the image on the top like that. Under style, you can change how the content looks, how the image displays, how big the image is. You can change the name, the title. There's a lot of customizations. With Elementor, any element you put on the page, anything you see within that element can be edited in this left-hand panel right here. Text can also be edited over here in the main viewing area, but everything else will be edited on the left-hand side. Here we have our nice image in the back. This is using parallax. If we click on these 6 dots to select the whole section and then go to style, here's our background image. The attachment currently is fixed, and that makes it stay in the background without scrolling with the page, and that's called a parallax effect. As you can see, the gentleman here, his head does not move. And you can change that attachment to scroll, and then it scrolls with the page as you're used to seeing with images. But parallax is a nice effect. I quite like parallax a lot. We have a new widget here that we haven't seen before. We can just click on it. We can enter a new address, and it'll show that address on this Google map. We can zoom in if we want. Let's zoom into right there. We can change the height if we want. We can prevent scroll, which means when the mouse cursor is over top of it, if we just scroll, the default functionality is the map will scroll. Here it says press Command and scroll to scroll, and you can move around, and it's like a real Google map right in your website. If we prevent scroll, that option is no longer there. If we wanted to drag us to a different area, so say I wanted to have this over here, I can just click and drag it and pop it right in there. And I can move these guys to the other side. And that blue little horizontal line that appears, that's where that widget will be dropped. So you know where it's going. Now we just rearrange those. Pretty simple. Now we have the option to add more sections. Just click on this icon right here. Select your structure, which means how many columns does that section have. Most of the columns on this page so far have been full width columns, so I'm going to choose full width. And now we can drag and drop widgets into here. So we could go to heading, and we could type in our new section. But this isn't styled like our other headings. So the easiest thing to do is come up here, right click, copy, scroll down, right click on this one, paste style. And now we have our heading appearing just like the other headings on the page. We can also click on this folder icon. With that, we can add blocks, which is sections of a website. You can scroll through all these blocks. There are quite a few. These are built right into Elementor. You can scroll through all of them, or you can choose a category. For example, you might want to have a clients block. Because we're an accounting firm, we have lots of amazing clients. I like this one. You can preview it by clicking on the little magnifying glass. Click on Insert to insert it. And now we have our block just like the other blocks. We can click on any of these and edit them as we see fit. I'm going to delete this section here. Just click that X. I'm going to paste our styling so we have our clients looking like the rest of our page. And now we can customize our clients block. Pretty straightforward. Elementor makes things pretty easy. So now we've come to the bottom of our page, updated everything we wanted. Make sure you click on Update in the bottom left. And now if we click on this little hamburger icon, exit to dashboard, we're going to take a look at how our page now looks. Hover over the top, click on Visit Site. I control clicked and command click to open a new tab. And now our site is right here. Our hover effects are there. It looks pretty darn good to me. And if I scroll to the very top and click on Accountants, it should take us to right here where our accountants are. So that's pretty awesome. But what if you want to add a new page? What if you want to add a separate page for the firm, for example? We can go back into the dashboard, go to All Pages, then Add New, and then Edit with Elementor. Now it's going to open this page in the Elementor editor, And we have our sidebar on the right, so we can edit it with that sidebar. Or we click on this little icon, this little gear icon on the bottom left, and we choose Elementor full width. And full width keeps the menu at the top, the header, and the footer at the bottom. If we choose Elementor canvas, then it's a completely blank page. And we have this page builder full from Neve as well. I usually use Elementor full width. I can click on this icon, the folder icon, to add a page. So if I wanted to add an about page, for example, here's a bunch of about pages. Let's see. This one looks pretty good. That one's pro only. Let's not do that one. There is a pro add-on for Elementor. So some of these are for the pro version. The ones that don't have pro in the top right corner, those are for the free version. And I'm going to choose this one. Click on insert. And now we have a complete page that we can click into any of these sections just like we did before and edit any of them using the Elementor tools on the left-hand side and sometimes on the right, especially for the text. You can change the name of the page. By default, because we did not set the page in the Gutenberg editor, it is called Elementor number 83. If you change this page or create a page like this without giving it a name, it's going to be called Elementor number something for you. It won't be number 83 every time. It increments, so every new page you create, it has a higher number. I'm going to change mine to about and click on update. And now I'm going to exit out of Elementor. I'm going to click on about to make sure a URL is updated. I'm going to call this about. Click on save, click on update. Now I'm going to go into appearance and menus, and my new about page is right here. I'm going to click on that, click on add to menu. I'm going to move it up to where it says the firm, and I'm going to change the name of this page to the firm as well, because I'm going to delete that second one. But first I want to show you how these two are different. If we go to the website, if I refresh, we now have the firm twice. This is our about page. It's the first one. It's the first one that appears on our list, so it's the first one that appears from left to right. If we click on this one, the firm, it takes us to the about area, just like all the other links do. But now this new one takes us to that new about page we created. And that's how we can add pages and add them to our menu system and build out a complete website using that. And now you have all the tools you need to get your domain name, get your hosting, install WordPress, install Neve, install Elementor, import a starter site, and then customize it to fit your needs, and then add more pages as you need them. And then create a website that's yours, that you've created, and that's totally awesome. So that's how we can quickly and simply create and customize a website using free tools. There are pro add-ons to these tools, so if you want to have even more widgets and more capabilities, you can check out those free tools. There's links in the description down below. And also our deal on the hosting account is down below as well, so make sure if you need hosting, click on that link so you can go to SiteGround and get that discount. As I mentioned before, if you have any questions, please leave them down below and like this video if you liked it. My name is Bjorn Allpass for ThemeIsle. Until next time, keep crushing it. I will see you in the next video.